Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Nino Brown Boxing, and I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So, man, the heavyweight division is having some type of drama going on. You know, things are. It's like it's starting a new transition, or it's transitioning into a new just a new stage of the heavyweight division, pretty much. And what I mean by that, you know, you have the WBO making Alexander Povetkin. The WBA making Alexander Povetkin, Anthony Joshua's mandatory. You know, you have Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua. It seems like they're coming to some type of agreement, and they should be possibly fighting soon, hopefully, so they get that unification fight. And then you got Luis Ortiz and Deontay Wilder. Seems like they're on a crash course. Seems like that's going to be a fight for 2018. So, like, with all of this stuff going on, oh, shit, I can't even forget. And you have Tyson Fury making his return. The one and only, the real champion of the heavyweight division, the real top dog in the heavyweight division. And you got Tyson Fury making comments like he won't be rushed to fight any of the top guys until he's back in shape. Me, personally, I look at it both. I can look at it two ways. I can look at it like, man, you were out of shape. That was your problem. But at the same time, if you're in a position where you can control your destiny, then why not take the route that puts you in the best position to win, especially when you're coming off a layoff. But this whole transition from the heavyweight division from 2017 to 2018 is definitely putting, it's just putting a spin on things. A lot of drug cheats are getting an opportunity again, even though some guys aren't, like Shannon Briggs. Do I think Shannon Briggs can compete with the elite heavyweights? No, but I think it's unfair that if you're going to allow other cheaters to have an opportunity, then why treat anyone else different? But at this point, I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's going to be the path to the heavyweight division. Like, is Eddie Hearn going to continue to avoid Deontay Wilder? Is he going to continue to try to make it a difficult path? Or what happens, or what changes if Anthony Joshua and if Deontay Wilder beats Luis Ortiz, and then Tyson Fury and Wilder get into, they set up their fight, and let's just say hypothetically Deontay Wilder wins for the sake of an argument. Deontay Wilder beats Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury. Now, what does that put Anthony Joshua? Because, by comparison, at this point, Wilder has a better resume than Anthony Joshua with the win over Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury. And if anyone tries to disagree, we all know that Anthony Joshua's best win. The thing that sets his resume apart from any other heavyweight at this point that's been fighting within the last 6 months is that he has a win over Klitschko. But the one man that beat Klitschko in a more convincing fashion than Anthony Joshua is Tyson Fury. So, if Deontay Wilder was to beat Tyson Fury, he has the lineal heavyweight champion on his resume, which makes Deontay Wilder the lineal heavyweight champion. Now, that definitely puts Eddie Hearn in a compromising position, and he'll most likely either be exposed for ducking, or he'll just have to make the fight. But it can go more than one way. Tyson Fury can get the victory over Deontay Wilder. Now, let's say Tyson Fury gets the win. Now, you just beat the guy. Tyson Fury beating Deontay Wilder, assuming Deontay Wilder beats Luis Ortiz. Now, Tyson Fury has Wilder on his resume. He has the original Klitschko, the Klitschko that wasn't on a long layoff, the Klitschko that wasn't 40 plus years old, and the Klitschko that was a unified heavyweight champion in the world and that was on a winning streak from 2004. That definitely will put Tyson Fury in a position where he's the top dog, he's the A-side, and Eddie Hearn, it would be crazy for Tyson Fury to sign with Eddie Hearn. I know that much. Tyson Fury is in a power position, and any true boxing fan know, all the Tyson Fury fans, they would know that the guy heavyweight is Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua is just, by definition, a paper champion. So we just have to see how that plays out. But, you know, focusing on things that are closer to the near future at this point in time, what happens if Anthony Joshua has to fight Alexander Povetkin? Now, I've been very consistent about how I feel about this. I don't like cheaters in any sport, but when it comes to any type of combat sport, like, I despise a cheater because, you know, that can be life-threatening to a person. And we've seen, like, the unfortunate events that have taken place in the history of boxing during boxers' careers and after boxers' careers. So, like, that's completely unacceptable. So even though I want Anthony Joshua to just get in the ring, I am rooting for Anthony Joshua to destroy Alexander Povetkin. Like, I'm rooting for him to destroy him. Well, I'm going to be completely biased going into this fight. If they make that fight happen, I'm not going to be using too much logic. It's just going to be me rooting for Anthony Joshua all day, every day. All I know is all of that stuff that Anthony Joshua needs to take a page out of Deontay Wilder's book. And he needs to have his sanctioning bodies put these guys on notice that are drug cheats. He needs to have his sanctioning body implement something comparable to the WBC, because the WBC has been on it when it's coming to popping these drug cheats. I don't want Anthony Joshua to suffer his first loss because some guy had an unfair advantage. I don't care if it's a little bit of meldonium in his system or he just got popped because he had steroids just pumping through his veins. He was on the juice like no other. Even if it's it's heart medication like Luis Ortiz, blood pressure medication like Luis Ortiz, like none of that. The last thing I want is for Anthony Joshua to take his first L against a cheater. I don't have any problem with him getting knocked out against a clean fighter, but Alexander Povetkin, in this hypothetical situation, let's say Anthony Joshua was to fight Joseph Parker next. So Anthony Joshua will have the WBA, the WBO, the IBF, and the IBO strap. Now, I'm assuming since he's the WBA #1 contender for Anthony Joshua's title, it's safe to say that all of those other titles will be on the line as well. I really don't. And I don't think anyone does, except anyone that's some Alexander Povetkin supporter. Anyone outside of that, American fans, UK fans, like, cut all the bullshit, cut all the politics, cut all the stuff from across the pond, from the UK to the USA. I believe 95% of people does not want to see Anthony Joshua lose to a cheating Alexander Povetkin under any circumstance. Like, I don't even care if Povetkin is caught afterwards, they switch the decision. If he loses and Joshua's knocked out in the ring and his titles are taken away from him, under any circumstance, like, that can be detrimental to this young guy's career. And, like, we just can't let that happen. So whatever's going on in that Wilder camp, and they're popping all of these guys, Povetkin included, Joshua needs to humble himself. He needs to talk to Wilder. He needs to talk to Wilder's promoter, his advisor, whatever organization they're using to test these guys. They need to have this type of stuff implemented. If Joshua wants to scream A-side and he wants to demand all of this money, Joshua needs to take a Floyd Mayweather approach. Hopefully he learned something when he visited Vegas and visited the Mayweather gym earlier this year. Hopefully Joshua learned something to use his A-side status, especially going against these drug cheats, to implement Olympic-style drug testing for these guys. If you're going to use your A-side to lowball people, you better use your A-side to implement these Olympic-style drug testing, because the last thing I want, I know the last thing Anthony Joshua want, and damn sure the last thing Eddie Hearn want, is for Joshua to take an L to Alexander Povetkin because he was on some type of drugs. Now, moving forward, Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz. I made a video previously about how I like Luis Ortiz calling out Deontay Wilder after Luis Ortiz his last knockout win. I believe that this fight can definitely be promoted extremely well, and they can, these guys can put on the show. Now, the same way I feel about Povetkin is the same way I feel about Ortiz. I don't want any drug cheats to have any type of advantage. Like, even if they're clean, like, I have a bad taste in my mouth for the simple fact that they've used these drugs before and they could possibly be using it again, or the drugs that they used in the past could have helped them get a victory over a guy that they wouldn't have beat without using the drugs. So it's just a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to these guys using these PEDs. But when it comes to the Wilder and Ortiz fight, I want Wilder to do the same thing to Luis Ortiz that he did to Bermane Stiverne, but instead of doing it in the first round, I'd rather it happen in the 6th round. I don't want Wilder to keep getting these first round knockouts, because even though he's training and he's going to the training camp, I want Wilder to get more rounds in. More rounds to work on his craft. More rounds to sharpen his skills. More rounds just to have people know who he is, to increase his popularity, increase his status. Whatever Wilder needs to do in the ring to pretty much put him in a better position where he can potentially be the A-side in the future, he got to do it. But that's my take on it for today. It's Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Peace.